Hi and welcome to this neoclassical lesson. I'm Niels Vejlødt, and in this lesson I'm playing, you might have noticed that I play a combination of sweep picking, 8-finger tapping, which is one of the concepts that I use a lot. I've been using for many years, as well as just normal 8-finger tapping. But the combination of sweep picking, 8-finger tapping is something that I started doing in the beginning of the 2000s. And the reason for me doing this is just because I was thinking that what is the most outrageous thing that I can do on the guitar, and this is pretty much what I came up with, or one of the things that I came up with, just from this basic idea. And this is only something you should do if you think this is cool and you think it sounds good, because obviously I'm not really saying that it becomes beautiful music, because I see it as just a way to create chops and become more inspired and become more creative with the techniques, using the techniques as a tool to come up with new chops. And also just because this way of playing really inspires me to come up with new ideas. So I don't see it as a problem where you lose the musicality, because chops is a way to sort of spice up your playing and your solo playing, I think. And that's not it doesn't take any musical away from the song, I believe, other than just spicing things up. So the first thing I do is I play a pretty standard sweep picking triad, B major, like this. And once I reach the top, I play here with my index finger on the 7th fret, low E string. Mind you, I have a 7th on this string, on this guitar. So I play 7, 11, and then I roll with my ring finger over the A and D string. Go into the G string with my long finger, 8th fret, and then roll my index finger over the B and E string, 7th fret. Once I'm in here on the high E string, I sort of open up my hand and do quite a few hammer-ons. I use all 4 fingers in order to be able to play this technique, the 8-finger tapping thing. I hammer on from the 7th to the 9th, 11th and 12th. So this is something where if you've never been doing this kind of thing before, it might be a little uncomfortable in the beginning, using all 4 fingers. The next thing I do is I do the same kind of concept, but in the tapping hand. I tap the exact same pattern actually, but just from the 14th fret. I tap 14, 16, 18 and 19 and pull those notes off again. And I just want to discuss the technique. I invented this technique where I slide the pick up over the index finger in order to be able to tap with all 4 fingers, exactly for this kind of technique, the combination of sweep picking, 8-finger tapping. After I pull those notes off again, I go back into the fretting hand and pull the notes off again from the 12th fret. And then what happens is I simply slide the pick back again into the tip of my thumb and my index finger. So after all the taps and the pull-offs, once I slid it back here, I start using it again here on the strings. Sounds a little weird, but then I again sweep up over the E and B string and into the G string and all the way up to the D string, which is the 9th fret. Then I go back into the G string. Once I'm back here to the G string, I sort of change the fingering, because first off, when I descend the pattern here, I go into the G string with my long finger and then into the D string with my index finger, and then I go back to the G string, but this time with my index finger, so I can open up my hand and do a lot of hammer-ons again. Then I hammer on from the 8th fret to the 9th, 11th and 13th, and I tap the exact same pattern again here, which is then 15, 16, 18 and 20th fret. Pull those notes off again, and you can see I do that sliding of the pick again. And I pull off again these notes. Then I actually go finish the sweep picking pattern here using the long finger over the D and A string, whereas when I ascend just the regular old triad sweep picking, I used my ring finger here in this area. But when you go back again here and you've been playing the 8-finger tapping thing, you are right at the exact spot where you need to be, but this time with your long finger. But that's cool. And then into the low E string again. into the 11th thread, which is an upstroke, and then a downstroke here on the 7th thread. Then we move into the next 8-finger tapping pattern. In this part, you could pretty much just chuck the pick. Then I using the picking first here. Then I play a B major scale 8-finger tapping pattern. I hammer on to 9, 11, and 12, and this is not a very nice pattern for me anyway in the fretting hand. But I do it anyway because I like this 8-finger tapping thing. Then I tap the exact same pattern, which is then on the low E string, 14, 16, 18, and 19. Then I move into the G string, playing 2 patterns which are again the same. I hammer on here to 6, and then 8, 9, 11. Then I tap the same pattern. I tap 13, 15, 16, 18, and pull off again. Pull those off again, and I actually play that same pattern once again. Then I skip the B string this time, whereas I skipped the A string before, and then I just go in with my index finger here and just play a complete legato phrase. I hammer on to the 11th, 12th, 14th, and 16th, and pull off again. Then here comes the real kicker. This will really challenge you. This is one of the toughest parts of playing 8-finger tapping, I think, because this is descending. You have to be really precise with your pinky here. So I tap 18, pulling off to 16, 15, 13, sorry, and then into the fretting hand, 11, 9, 8, and 6. The toughest part is going into the low E string, I think, when you descend. That is tapping here with the pinky on the 19th fret, pulling off to 18, 16, and 14, and then open up your hand here to be pulling off here from 12 to 11 and 9 and 7. I never use a hair pick or anything to damp the strings for chops like this, because I've always seen it as some kind of a device that really would mess up the game, or anyway, I would just feel that it would I feel it was a little irritating to have stuff like this, because you can't go from technique to technique without being having to move that device back and forth. I know some great guitar players are doing so, but just for me, I didn't like that. So I also knew that this requires a lot of dampening skills, which is something that I really focus on a lot. You can do it is what I sometimes do is to use this pickup. That for some reason it cleans up a little bit some of the noise if you're making a lot of noise. But I think that when you practice techniques like this, practice it with this pickup, because this will really tell you what you need to work on.